There. Is that working? I think that's working, although the avatar is not working now. Of course the avatar's not working now. Can't remember how I did this. That goes in there. That goes in there. That goes... I need that. That needs to be that. Okay. Is it working now? No. Of course not. Because that'd be far too easy. Why is it not working? Possibly. Hang on. Does it work now? No. Oh, for goodness sake. This is going to be one of those days when... Why is this not working? How can that not be working? Because that's working. And I can see that... Why would that not be working? Yeah, but my lips aren't moving. And well, I obviously to start with, you couldn't hear me because my cable had got twisted and I unplugged it and replugged it. And when I did that, for some reason, even though it's called the same device, it decided that's clearly not what I should be listening to. I'm guessing that for some reason, it's somehow not doing the right thing, even though this should be... This suggests that it should be working. Oh, there's a thing on it, isn't there? Hang on, properties. No, it's not properties, it's filters, isn't it? Filters. Mouth bit. Hang on. No. They're still there. I don't understand. It was so easy to set up when I did it, and well, and now it's kind of not. Tell you what, let's undo that, and you'll just have to live without me talking in the bottom corner, because clearly that's not going to work, and I will fight with that later. Maybe if I restarted OBS, it would mysteriously work again, or something along those lines. Because we all know how good computers can be. They'll just mysteriously work again for no reason. Yeah, my microphone had got a bit loose, so I twisted it around a bit, and the cable was kind of wiggled around itself. So I unplugged it and plugged it back in. Even though none of these things were running, so it's not like it should matter. And I noticed that the little voicey thing wasn't doing the little voicey thing because it flashes on my screen. But I don't see why it wouldn't work on me. Why does the thing not work on me? Oh well, as I said, I shall work on that later. So how are you, Nautical? How are you? It's good to see you. I need to take the jumper off. It's too hot. For some reason, I don't know whether it's psychosomatic or not, but I'm going with yes, is the moment I sit down to do this, I feel like I'm 5 degrees hotter. So 2 minutes ago, I was feeling cool but not uncomfortably cold. Now I'm hot. Now I am too hot. And I know I'm menopausal, but it's not that either. This is because I've moved, because I'm sitting somewhere slightly different, because, and screw it. So take my jumper off for a minute, which means I'll be cold again in a minute. In fact, I can feel myself rapidly cooling down, and beginning to feel the chill, because it's not actually that warm in here. Because it's not. It's 18 degrees or whatever, which is not cold, but it's not warm either, you know. Right, let's look, see. So yes. Thank you. Yes. I'm not quite go that far, but it's. Have you ever noticed that some things just seem to be because there is no obvious or rhyme or reason to it? It's just because, and for some reason, it's like, you know, why do my dogs suddenly go all hyper when I start streaming, even though I talk to people all day on the phone, because, you know, it's part of my job. Not all day, but, you know, I talk to various people throughout the day, so it's not that they're not used to me talking to somebody they can't see and they're all excited for that, because they don't do it when I'm kind of doing a work thing. Well, not usually. So it's just kind of like, so why is it then, the moment I'm doing lace bobbing things and talking, you lose your marbles and gain no form of sanity whatsoever? You may recall I ordered some DVDs about lace making, and they were only available in America, so I had to order them, and, you know, they've taken a really long time to get here. I think they personally swam their way across here. Anyway, they arrived at my local post office depot on Saturday, and because I got the tracking number, I was aware of this. Now, to be honest, they arrived at stupid an hour of the clock, so to be honest, I would have expected a card on Saturday. I didn't get one on Saturday, I didn't get one on Monday, and I didn't get one on Tuesday. So, when Wednesday came, I phoned up the post office. Now, that's harder than it sounds, because I phoned up the local post office, and literally the pre-recorded girl, who, with all due respect to her, well, it's really hard to have due respect to her, sounded like she's got less IQ than one of my bobbins here. She sounded like she was proper struggling in life. Was announced a number of menus, and literally all the menus kind of said, go see the website and sod off, and disconnected you. Great. So I searched around a bit more, and I searched around a bit more, and I searched around a bit more, and I found a different phone number, but not for the local one, for a more UK level one. So I phoned that, and it was kind of like, press 1 if you're a resident, 2 if you're a business. Okay, well, I'm definitely a resident, I'm not a business, so, you know, went through all of that, and, you know, like 20 menus later, press this for this and that for that. So I did that, and each time making the best choice I could at each menu. Parcel is arriving from overseas. Yes, press button. Oh, well, we can't deal with anything to do with that. You need to go back to the original sender. No, the problem is you've got my parcel and didn't send me the thing telling me how much I need to pay you. It's a you problem, not a them problem. They can't help me with that. You need to do that. Anyway, so I went through 300 menus again, and refused to pick that option, and picked a different option, and got through to someone who, pin under nail, ow, that really hurt. I got through to someone and explained that, you know, I have a parcel, and yes, it's coming from overseas, and please do not just give up on me yet. Let me explain, that I've not had. Oh, and I can't pay the fee to pay on the website because it tells me that the tracking number doesn't have a fee to pay. But on the tracking page of the tracking number, it says there is one. Oh, and okay, well, I'll raise a complaint. No, I don't want to complain. I just want to pay it. I just want to pay you money so I can have my parcels, right? Oh, you can't do that. You have to do it online. Yeah, but I can't do it online because it says that this number. Oh, well, you need the card reference number. Of course you do. You couldn't possibly do it so that we could just pay you, right? Well, I did get the card today. So I entered the details on the card and it said, I'm sorry, there's a problem with that. Fortunately, there is an option of I've got fees to pay. I know how much it is, but I don't have the number. I'm not quite sure how they expect you to know how much it is without the number. But it let me pay it, and hopefully they will arrive on Saturday. But I still need to check how I'm going to play them because, well, I don't think I have a DVD player to hand. Jeff might have one, actually. How much are USB DVD players? Oh, is that it? Really? They're that cheap? Wow. I can get one for £10 whole. Oh, I might be doing that. I ordered something off Amazon and it said, yeah, it'll be with you by 10 o'clock Tuesday night. Does it say? No, 10 o'clock Wednesday night. And I was like, doubt it, because at 6 p.m. it still hasn't even dispatched, and you're kind of going, no, I don't think so. And then suddenly, it dispatched about 8 o'clock at night. Yeah, I'll be with you by 10 o'clock tomorrow. Yeah, but you said today. Just as well I didn't wait in for it, huh? It did show up today, though, to be fair, but just as well it wasn't important, It's been a long week. Well, the good news, looks like I'm not having to go into the office next week, so it's a bonus. I forgot to twist them. You fucking piece of forgot to twist them. Well, I suppose it's better to notice now than later. Not a lot, and it feels like you should be here somewhere. Yeah, you should be here somewhere. Yeah, that's better. Yoink. Hang on. twisted the first pair. Numbnuts here didn't twist the second pair. Or the third pair. So now, idiot lace maker of stupidness is going backwards so she can fix it. And little brown dog is going nuts. Why are you going nuts, little brown dog? Your bruvs has settled down like a good boy. Definitely pulling out the right pin is harder than it sounds. Pin. Out you come. So I wish there was a way of twisting them without having to go all the way back. I've just realised something really quite horrible. Hang on a minute, I need to go and let the dogs out. Well, that was a bit mean of me. Someone came round earlier and I didn't let them back out in the garden. Mr. Paul's just going off to go and do all the things that he's not been able to do for a few hours. Poor little pups. I'm sorry, pups. You could have said, you know, you'd like stand by the door and bark or something. Let's go and make sure the gate was shut. But it is Friday tomorrow. Friday's a good day. We like Fridays. Fridays are always good days. Twisted, that's a good thing. Dogs. What's he doing? Why did you run into the house like you had a purpose? What were you doing that you shouldn't be? My mummy sense is tingling. Yes. Yes. What have you done with Dino now? You had fun with Dino earlier. You were having a whale of a time with Dino earlier. Dino is a little pink dinosaur toy. I got Dino and a gecko. Technically, the gecko is his, Dino is hers. And generally, they do not play with each other's. But they're not against the other playing with it briefly. And we were having a good kind of throw of Dino earlier. So what have you done with him? Where have you hidden him? Because Gecko is upstairs on the landing, as far as I know. It's where he was yesterday, anyway. I haven't seen you move him, so he's probably still there. Yes, little brown dog. Oh. as in 2 minutes. I can't be dealing with that. Bent pens. Bought a stand thing for my cross stitch the other day. It's shit. It is the most useless thing I've ever seen. The idea of it is a good idea. I don't know who they designed it for, unless it's children, because it's just stupid. The idea is it's got a planky bit at the bottom that you put under your thigh to kind of hold it still, and then there's a sticky out bit, and then a sticky out bit that you clamp onto the thing holding your cross stitch. Well, first of all, the height of the thing is like next to nothing, so it's not got a lot of flexibility as to, you know, whether you work on it down here or kind of up here. Secondly, because you put your leg on it, it tilts at an angle, so instead of being upright like this, it tilts like this. So of course it naturally wants to point the work downwards into your other leg. And it doesn't really have, I mean, it has adjustment in that the piece at the end can be, you know, manoeuvred around. Probably. Oh, of course there are ads now. I was talking about something. see if I was looking at, see if I could see why my mouth wasn't working, you know, because, well, it should be, but it's not. I don't see why not. It's just not. Because if I put me up, it's just not moving. I don't think it's moving. Pretty sure it's not moving. No, that's not moving. It's not my imagination. Nope. So I don't quite understand why not. Because how I set it up, it's quite an easy thing to do. You monitor an audio input, which is my microphone. So let's reselect that again, even though that was not the problem. And then on a filter, you say to it, when it goes over a certain threshold, which is not a lot to be honest, it should move. But it's not. So confused. As I say, I will try and work that out for next time. Something for me to work on. It's just a bit annoying because, of course, it was quite good sitting in the corner, showing that I was talking. Never mind. Never mind. Computers are set to try us, that's for sure. you in a stick. And we shall pivot you round and bring back the worm of goodness. Push the pins. And then we play pull the pin. We like pull the pin. Let's see if we made the same mistake we seem to have made in a number of the previous triangles. I don't think we did. It'll be annoying if we did. Because I don't know quite what I did, but I do know that there seems to be a kind of key spot that I seem to make the same mistake on. So the question is, no, I didn't, by the looks of it. Blimey. Wow. Looks pretty cool. And for the first time, this triangle may be the one. It might be the triangle of perfection. It's going to be the only one, but, you know. We aim for perfection, but we also realise that we may not succeed. So, gather you up, put you in a stick, make you longer, because the more you are, the more you can go round the corner and the way. So my co-worker's just realised something that's a really good point, and so he's trying to talk to me about it, and I'm busy. Don't get me wrong, he is perfectly right, and it is a really good legal issue that we need to deal with, but not now. Tomorrow. Tomorrow, please. Tomorrow between the hours of 7 and 12. Even though we'll actually be talking about it till midnight tonight, so that's not the point. It's really hard not to say, love, bend knee. Because he is stressing about it. And rightfully so, it's a legal thing and it makes a big difference. Right. So, I think, like we did last time, because we're already here, we'll do this one first. Straight from where you came from. That's a good thing. Sod off, for God's sake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, and you're done with, right? And we are adding you. So, hey Nautica, how's your knotting going? You done it? Are you working on anything at the moment? One of the things I do like about cloth stitch, it does work fairly fast. Now we need you, so we will unpin you, pop you out and slide you around there out the way. Work our way back across. Goodness sake, dude. Idiot. Already added one pair. Oh, Jesus. We're having an argument about car insurance. By the way. So if anyone's a car insurance dude and knows absolutely all the ins and outs in the UK of car insurance, Do speak up. I have a question. After all, I don't know what you all do for your day jobs. And my pet car insurance dude is semi-retired, so it doesn't work on Friday, so I can't ask him tomorrow. I have to wait till Monday, and by then we'll have argued about it for days and be in a foul mood. So. I will phone and ask them tomorrow. That's I know what their answer will be, of course, is the, oh yes, you need to buy more insurance because that gets us more money, of course. Hey Zukin, how are you? My sound's acting up, hence there isn't a little Liz in the bottom corner because my lips weren't moving, and I'm paranoid that you can't hear me and it's all gone to crap. So, hello to you. That's always a good thing. You know what it's like when there's just that kind of doubt now because it's all gone to pot. Because if I show you my little facey thing that usually accompanies me, see, she's not moving her lips. Now, all that happened between it working and not working was I tightened up my microphone so the cable was a little bit kind of twisted round the arm, so I unplugged it and plugged it back in. Now, I've checked, and initially it wasn't working because it had defaulted to the default microphone. I don't know which one that is, but it's not this one, clearly. So it wasn't picking it up. So I changed the actual audio. Yeah, it's not like me at all, though, is it? Come on. Since when does Liz do a vow of silence? Yeah, I would fail at the vow of silence because I'd stub me toe 3 seconds in and curse the paint off the walls. So that's nothing. But so I got the voice working quite quickly because I realised that, you know, obviously the mic wasn't working because the little thing wasn't going up and down and flashing and showing that it had sound. So I went and set that, and then I realised that, you know, my little character wasn't moving. And I went and checked, and sure enough, it was no longer monitoring the right thing, so I changed it. But it didn't fix it. So the only thing I can think of is I've got to restart OBS, but I can't be bothered to restart the stream, so it'll have to wait. And so, hence, I turned little me off because, well, she's not doing anyone any good down there, so why bother? So how's Zukin? What's Zukin been up to? I know that feeling. I had my review earlier. I historically don't do review well. Not because I necessarily have done badly. I just have history of, and I need to word this carefully. That's a good thing. I have in the past had managers. Ooh, that should be interesting. Make sure you make them really big and fat so that when my big fat ogre ass waves them around, they show them off in their true glory. But yeah, I've had a few managers in the past not be entirely fair on my reviews. Well, in fact, some of them downright lied. So it incites almost a level of PTSD. To the point I get nightmares, I don't sleep properly. Even if I know I've done nothing bad this year and my boss thinks reasonably well of me, and I got a glowing review, but I still didn't sleep last night. I still had nightmares for the nights before. I have still been really stressed about it. And this is not something you need in life. It truly is not. And so I have been, so I was a little bit concerned for that. And it kind of, I hate the word triggered, but feeling slightly triggered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just checking that wasn't too many. Because 5 minutes before my review, ping, sorry, gonna have to move the meeting. What? No, I didn't sleep last night. Please don't move the meeting. I've been stressed about this for days. No, please. Fortunately, they moved it only to the afternoon. But all the same, was still a little bit kind of. So I could have done without that in my life today. Goodo. Hang on. So my co-worker has raised a very valid point that we need to address for future moments, and because in 2 weeks it will matter. And it is, especially when, unlike say a meeting of, I know, you might go to a meeting on, ideas for weapons, right? You go in and you've got some ideas, and you know that not everyone maybe will like them, but, maybe it'll get a bit of a mixed bag, but you've got some ideas of things we could have. So you could have like a flail with a swinging ball on the end of it or something. Great. And the animation guy's going, no, I don't want to be doing that. Oh, God, no, please not, right? A whip. Let's have whips, yeah, but not like the EverQuest whip where nothing happened. Actual whips with, like, balls on the end or something that spark into fire or something exciting, right? And because you are respected in what you do, you know that people will listen and give honest, maybe not what you wanted, but honest feedback. When it comes to your review, it just never feels the same because it feels out of control. Because although it's supposed to be about you and none of it's supposed to be a surprise, it never feels entirely under your control. It never feels. I've had very few reviews in my life which went the way you expect them, which is you fill in some magic form to remind your boss of all the great things you did this year, and you big yourself up about, I did all these great and important things, and technically that was not my job, so you should love me more for it. And next year I intend to do these great and glorious things, and work on this, and put a bit more effort into that, and maybe get a better understanding of this, that, and the other. And you do all of these things, and you fill in the stupid form. And then you go to the meeting, and you're supposed to sit down with your manager and discuss the form, and he's supposed to have read it in advance, and you sit there going, well, yes, I did this great thing. And he goes, yeah, you did, And then there's usually, but, and you're kind of going, what do you mean, but? You never said, but at the time, right? All these kind of aspects, right? And it's not so bad, but you hardly ever seem to sit down and actually discuss them, because you've got to try and cram 1 year's review and what you're going to do for next year into half an hour. Well, that's not a lot of time now, is it? And so as a result, you sit there and you're kind of going, right, so boss reads through your stuff, which takes 20 minutes, and then kind of mutters that, I'm going to rate you this, and you usually want to disagree, but reluctantly don't say anything. Because, we feel you met expectations. So, saving the universe 16 times was my job, was it? Really? I don't remember signing up to be an Avenger. But, all these kind of things. And you go away and you look at, and so you're disappointed with your review because you met expectations when, frankly, you really shouldn't have been doing half those things. And so, you feel there should have been a little bit more nicety to it. But, okay, fine, you met expectations, whatever. Or even worse, you did all of the good things, and then you didn't meet expectations. I've had that one too, which was some of the kind of trauma-based thoughts that go with it, because it seems to be irrelevant actually how well you do. They pick what they want, and some of them, and don't have to justify it, so they can write what they like, and some of them did. And so it is I find it a wholly unpleasant experience, and one that I really do not wish to repeat too often. Current place does it every 6 months. And what frustrated this one more was the fact that we did our half-year review, and it was literally like 2 weeks later we got asked to fill in the end-of-year one. Dude, it's 2 weeks. My boss had been on holiday for those 2 weeks. So in what time was stuff supposed to have changed? And I've got till the 31st of December to complete some goals and objectives. Well, clearly, if I haven't done them yet, because maybe some of them are over a number of months do X, well, I'm not going to have completed it by August, am I? You know, it's just not a thing. So, yeah, I reviews just wind me up because they don't feel entirely fair. One of the things that I have commented for many, many years is, so, we go into review and boss tells you how well you did. Usually, I mean, you know, I'm not going to say there are no negative comments ever, but, you know, we all hope that our reviews are fairly positive. And we come out. When does anyone ask us what it's like to have them as a boss? When do we feed back properly what it's like to have them as a boss? Now, I like my current boss. He's a nice guy. I've definitely had way worse, so, you know, it's not a problem. But at what point does anyone sit me down and go, right, so, as your boss's underling, what is he like to work for? How, you know, does he do all the managerial things that the company expects of him? Because the answer might be no, because we've had plenty of them too. And you'll have sitting there kind of going, it's all well and good that you send out these things and, you know, God forbid I don't do my job, there'll be a trip to HR in it. But if my manager doesn't do their bit or lies on their form, that's okay. And the bit that's always bugged me, mainly due to some particular managers in my past, obviously, was the fact that if manager writes, you're shit, on your review, not maybe quite those words, but, you know, the equivalent, they do not have to justify them. And that has always bugged me because, I'm sorry, but if you're going to tell me that I did a crap job this year after all the good things that I did do, I'm not going to say there aren't potentially some bad things that I did some years, but I won't say they were bad, but, you know, lesser things I could have done better at. But if you're going to then write on it that I did a crap job to the point that it will cost me any pay rise, I feel you should have to justify what exactly I failed to meet upon in a way that is crystal clear. And not just write, oh, well, you failed. Because it's a bit like an exam, I guess, is that you go into the exam after years, you know, years of study and lots of effort, and it's suddenly, oh, well, you failed. Well, what did I get wrong? Because I did my best. You know, all the things I wrote, I swore were true. So what exactly did I get wrong? I want to understand what I need to look at harder and what I need to do better. And if they don't tell you, it's really, really difficult. And so I just stress over reviews. And I know I shouldn't, but they matter. In the long run, they matter. They make a difference to your pay packet. They make any, you know, to your internal promotion prospects. Not that we've had too many of those, but, you know, should I have applied for things? It matters. Well, then I want it to be fair and accurate, and I want to understand what I've got to do to improve to be the perfect little Liz that you want me to be. And they generally don't cover that bit. So, yeah, I am proper stressed over reviews, and I'm glad it's over now. For I understand that my future there may not be reviews. That could be interesting. And I certainly don't see that as a problem, in a way. Well, I do, actually. I know it's going to sound really bad considering what I've just said, but having no review? Really? That seems a little bit, in my mind. I'm sure it'll change. I bet it will change as of next year. I guess. I put money on it. Well, and that's the thing that I've always found with a lot of these systems is that, again, how to word it delicately. Some of us are happy at the level we're at. Maybe a little bit higher, but not kind of the I want to spend all day in fucking meetings higher up, right? Because if the next level up from me spends the whole day in a meeting, I don't want that. I'd rather stay where I was. But at the same time, the opportunity to grow is a good thing. And as you know, Zukin, I've taught myself many things in life. Hello, we're looking at one of them, right? I like learning things. I like doing new things. I like understanding things. So I'm keen to learn a few new things. I'm keen to, I'll pretty much do anything to help, to be honest. However, what is frustrating, as you said, is the come your review thing. They inevitably want you to, please name 4 courses you wish to attend this year. Don't actually want to go on any courses. I just want to learn new shit. There is a difference. And to be honest, I have had 1 training course in 19 years. And that suits me fine. And the 1 course we went on was the biggest pile of bullshit I've ever seen. I felt so sorry for our lot. They paid, I believe it was nearly £5,000 for this week course. And we drove to a remote location to go to this course because it was held on location somewhere. And it was a shitty location, but we went to the location, me and my co-worker who keeps sending me text messages. We both were on this course. And the guy on the running the course literally spent 3 days telling us all the places he worked and how great he was. Didn't cover the material. Well, he kind of did. He'd read out what was on the slide. But what was on the slide wasn't like a comprehensive explanation. It'd be like 1 sentence, and it would be a random sentence, almost like out of the entire history of sentences. And it was kind of like, what's that slide about? I don't know. Okay, what's he on about? And he banged on about how he worked for this and how he worked for that, and we kept catching him out to the point he cut the course short. It was supposed to be 3 days of teaching, and then either 3 or 4 days of teaching, and on the 5th day, I think it was, we were supposed to take the exam, because there was an exam at the end of it. What actually happened is we got 3 days, and the 4th day he said, tomorrow's a half day because I've got to leave and go home. And we went, well, what about the exam? Oh, you don't do that. You have to book that separate. Well, that's not what we were told. We were told the exam was done here, and then it turned out the exam had to be done from home, or sorry, potentially in the office, because of course we work in the office, but you had to have a camera on you 360, and we can't have cameras on site, so we couldn't do the test there. We had to arrange to go back later to do the test, and we were the only people there, and it was kind of like, why are you here? Well, because we can't do it where we work. Oh, well, why not? Because we can't, okay? We're not doing it just to be awkward. We physically are not permitted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it was just a little bit kind of like, just bugger off. And, well, to be honest, so obviously I don't want to name too many company names, but the guy kept saying, oh, well, I worked for this company and this time. And I was like, well, I was there then and you weren't. Oh. And then he'd fire up some other company, and it's like, my mate from work worked there then, and no, you weren't. And then he said, oh, well, I worked here, and I went, no, you didn't, because I know the dude who was running it, and he's never heard of you, so can we not? And virtually every time he opened his mouth, it seemed to be a lie. And he possibly did do a minor training course in some of these companies, but certainly the one that he said that he'd done, which is a local company, or was a local company here, they've gone bankrupt now, but I and my ex-husband were working for at the time, and he claimed he was in a building, and he said all of this, and I went, and he was like, well, it was so bad there, they even had to work in the corridors. There aren't any corridors in that building? And he looked at me and I went, there are no corridors in that building because it's a converted house. There is no corridors. There isn't even a hallway because it's a really old house. You go into a room and into a room and into. There are no corridors. So you are not in the building you're claiming, my friend. I wasn't there very long. Maybe I'm confused. Well, it's funny because I worked in one building, he worked in the other, and he worked in the one that you claimed you were at, and they never had someone in to do that because, well, they never had someone in to do that, so no, you didn't. He was just making up company names to sound big and important. It was almost like, you know, it'd be a bit like, I don't know, me claiming I wrote OBS, right? It would be the kind of, really, did you? When you know the guy who did kind of thing, and you're like, really? Really, did you now? Are you sure on that? You don't want to revise that one down a little bit? Yeah. No. It was. All he did was boast about companies he'd worked for, and we could disprove half of them. And he got really funny when none of us would talk about what we did because we all worked for companies that meant we couldn't. And he got really upset because he was hoping to brag that he'd worked in our companies and we wouldn't tell him anything about it. And then, of course, when we came to the exam, I failed by 1 point. Fuck you. My co-worker passed by 1 point, and we were discussing the questions out in the kitchen afterwards, and it was like, so in this question, you know, insert question here, what did you write? Well, I wrote this, and I said, well, I wrote that, and it was like, yeah, I don't think either of us are right, but let's face it, none of the answers on the page were right, because it was multiple choice. None of the actual answers, because there were too many double negatives. It was almost along the lines of, which of the following is never not true? I'm sorry, what? Never. So that's always true, right? Or maybe I'm wrong. And I'm sorry, but playing guesswork like that on exam papers is not a fun thing. And no one should have to do that. And apparently now they have changed some of them, so there is a lot less of that. But unfortunately, at the time we did it, there was a lot of that. And it was just unpleasant. And the fact that I failed by 1 frigging point, I was so annoyed. And I was doing practice exams, and it was getting worse, not better. It was kind of like, I just can't do this. But I did my best, and I failed. But no one seemed to notice that I failed, so whatever. It wasn't that important. They only sent me on it for lip service, I think, so. But as you say, Zukin, it's inevitably you feel like you fill in your form with a big pile of bullshit because you have to make out how you did this great and glorious thing, and actually all you did was click the right button but everyone else had failed to notice or something, and you're like, yeah, it's not really it's not exactly the same, you know. It's not really kind of a big deal here. But I suppose I've got to write something good I did this year, and that was a good thing, but all I did was, you know, copy a file or something, or restore a file, or, you know, correct a spelling mistake or something, and you kind of go, I may have saved the universe doing it. It wasn't really, you know, it's not like I found the cure to cancer this year or something, you know, it was, I only did a little thing. And inevitably, of course, you have to find something bad about yourself. And you're sitting there, it's kind of like, what can I say that's bad about myself that's not really bad about myself, but that I want to work on this year, but that I actually don't want to work on this year? I hate reviews. But it's over for now. That's always a good thing. Till next time. hope my post comes on Saturday. Don't know why it can't come tomorrow, but apparently it can come on Saturday. I've definitely got to find myself a DVD player, but Amazon seems to sell them for a tenner, so I will probably do that. Don't need it to be great and wonderful, just need it to play. Don't even need it to be a DVD writer, it just needs to play. Because what, of course, I'll actually do is I'll convert it to MP3s or MP4s or something and stick it on Google Drive so that I can't lose it. And then I can, like, frisbee the DVD somewhere. Imagine getting replacements would be difficult. When did I order them? It's quite a while ago. Ads coming soon. 3 minutes. Purchases. Scroll. I ordered them the 13th of October, so it's been a month, and they finally made it to the UK. I swear they swam the friggin' ocean. Reminds me, I really must post my question in the Lace Makers group. I have a puzzle, and I'm sure to seasoned lace makers it's really obvious, and they'd be kind of like, really, you don't know that, how could you not? But like everything, I was confident in things until I saw someone who didn't do it, and then my brain's, but they don't do that. They don't do that, so why do I have to do that? Why am I doing that if not? Is it actually not compulsory? Why? What? So, and the question is, let me sort this out a bit. The question is when you get to the end of a row in cloth stitch, I have read, stroke, been shown, stroke, it's in books, etc., that you do 2 twists at the end of the row. This is to lock the worker threads together and go round the pin strongly. So, I was watching some dude, person, lady, whatever, don't know, don't care, gender irrelevant, because it's really not relevant, and they didn't do any twists. Now, personally, I would think one would probably be enough as a potential option, because obviously the more twists you've got, the more of a kind of a lump at the end you get. So you can't really see it here, but you do get like this little lump at the edge. In fact, let me zoom it in. Zoom it in on. Of course, the ads come. But I'll finish zooming in anyway. Whoops, wrong direction. So you get like these little lumps at the edge, and that is in part caused by the fact that you've got 2 twists because, well, that's what we've been told to do. But this person doesn't do any. And I'm kind of like, but now, structurally, I'm pretty sure it doesn't make a huge difference, because as long as it goes backwards and forwards, it should be fine. Oh dear. That could be worse. No, I don't drink coffee either. Ah, dear me. It's interesting to see the ads that they think are appropriate. I'll take your word for it for that one. Oh goodness, poor Zukin. As I said though, it's nearly as bad as the ones I get. Oh. Oh dear me. Oh, mind you, I get no better. Hopefully you're all back from your joyous adverts. Zukin, if it's any consolation, everywhere I go on social media, the ads I get are bras that frankly wouldn't cover a mosquito bite, and I am somewhat more blessed than that. There you go. So yeah, Zukin, I totally understand. I tend to get ads for bras that wouldn't cover a mosquito bite when I distinctly have far more to put in one than that. Secondly, makeup. I have worn makeup one day in my entire life, and I felt like a clown the whole day, and that was my wedding day. Clearly I have no intention of doing that in a hurry, so really don't need that. And the other one, which has started in the last couple of weeks, please sit down for this, beard dyeing products. I know we live in a much more fluid society than we used to, but I do not need to dye my beard. First of all, I do not have one. I can't grow one. And I'm not even getting like the old lady kind of fuzz yet. So, fuck off with the beard dyeing products. I know I tend to play male ogres in roleplay games, but they don't tend to have beards either when I play them. So, can we not? But it is always funny. I mean, someone was on a little while ago, and they got a British Royal Navy advert, and it's kind of like, yeah, they wouldn't be allowed to join, so no. It is quite funny sometimes. You know, what's believed to be the right level of advert. That doesn't look right. There's something a bit funky here. There is some funkiness. Oh, Amy's off. I'm going to go back a bit because there's some funkiness. And I do not wish for funkiness. I am striving for perfection. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to have a better look at it. Because sometimes you go back, you fanny around a bit and it now looks fine and you're none the wiser. And that's fine, I can cope with that. I need to put you a bit further out the way. Why are you... You're more twisted than I would have liked. Okay. Let's take the pin out, that might help sort some of this out. Right, so you come around here, like that. Now we go backwards. Right. So yeah, some of the targeted ads are just ludicrous. I do think it would be nice in a way if you could ask to exclude certain types of adverts from things, because I know they go against your ideals, or you have issues with, you know, generally the idea of certain things being flogged. For ages, for example, Facebook used to show me a ad, and it was like every ad was for the same thing, and it would be, for want of a better word, wolf porn. It was stories about wolf porn. Now, I'm an adult. I'm fairly, you know, understanding of life, but I never once in my life have expressed an interest in this subject, and more to the point, I only ever expressed no interest in this subject, but somehow they kept selling. Literally, I went through about 40 companies saying, I never want to hear from these idiots again. This advert is inappropriate. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, come Christmas, it is the toy your kid never knew they needed will suddenly now be their favourite thing in the world because they saw an advert for it. And that is the point of the advert. I'm not going to disagree. So, let me have a quick look. This does look okay. So, the question then is... I know what's wrong with it. I know what's wrong with it. Yeah. I'm clever. Hooray. I know what's wrong with it. I know what's wrong with it, people. I am missing a twist in a very valuable place. But it is, as you say, sometimes you just look at these adverts and it's kind of like, why? Because like you, I don't drink coffee, so stop trying to sell me coffee shit. I couldn't have less interest in your coffee, especially first thing in the morning, because the smell of coffee first thing in the morning makes me want to barf. So let's not pretend that Liz is interested in your coffee, because Liz is more likely to make you wear it. So can we not bother trying to pretend that you want to be selling Liz coffee? So let's look. You see, you should be like that. And then you get crossed over. There you go. Told you I knew what was wrong with it. So, it is... Or at least pick topics that are... you're against. And I, in some ways, I think that's probably a more realistic answer. Well, yeah, I mean, so for example, as a crafting stream, you would expect sewing machines, knitting, patterns, you know, kits for things, but not necessarily, I don't know, gardening tools, right? It's, you would expect, quote, targeted ads either to be properly, reasonably done against the watcher's, you know, general thoughts on the matter. So, for example, you know, they've spotted that every week you buy 58 kilos of coffee, therefore flogging you some coffee is possibly the right thing to be doing. Or it's done on the channel basis and you have subject relevant things. So, for example, for gamers, you can have the new EA Sports, you know, football shit or Fortnite or whatever's coming out, right? And it just seems really weird that in some ways, as streamers, you also, I'm going to say this, and this is going to sound really weird, but it almost seems weird as streamers, you can't advertise as a streamer on Twitch. So you can't make an advert for, I know, the gaming community for Monsters and Memories. Well, why not? Surely that's a perfectly valid thing. I'm sure there is a way of doing it, but they don't do it in an open and easy manner. So for example, you can't use the advert space. I mean, you'd obviously pay for it in some form, but to say, I know, for any other lace things, maybe, you know, put my thing out. I'm prepared to pay for 1,000 impressions or whatever. Because, well, then you could grow your audience by finding similar like-minded people, right? It seems odd that the adverts are more like, you know, hey, you need to clean your toilet. Well, that's a bit presumptuous of you. How do you know I didn't do that 10 minutes ago? It's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You need a new car. No, I don't. I don't use the one I've got. Why would I want a new one? Thinking of ditching this one. It's that kind of thing. It's the adverts always seem to be really stupid and completely irrelevant. And surely it's not in anybody's, you know, interest to get them wrong. True, I guess. But at the same time, I don't know about you, but for my car insurance, if I get a thing through the door that says, hey Liz, you know, you could insure your car through us, they're the last people I'm likely to go to. Stop being so desperate. It's the same with the, hey, are you thinking of moving house? Well, if I was, I'd have gone to an estate agent by now. So no, I'm not. I'm not sitting here and wondering what I should do next week. Hey, I know, let's buy a new house for the sheer fuckery of it all. No, if I'm doing that, I'll be looking at houses on the market and I'll already be in contact with various estate agents. And it would make likely sense that I'll use the one I'm trying to buy through as the one I want to flog my own through, because then it cuts out on a lot of crap. So can we not? Because I get quite a few of those. Hey, flog your house. No, I'm living in it. Leave me alone. I want it. I'm not sleeping in the garden. Actually, the one thing I don't get here, which is quite surprising, is in my old house, I used to get quite a lot of things for like stair lifts, hearing aids, because the people who lived there before me were really old. Well, the people who lived here before me in this house were really old. They both passed away of natural causes, I believe. Well, but I don't get the stair lifts, the hearing aids, the home helps, the through the post. There's like, in fact, I don't get a lot of spam. I mean, I did get a wodge a bit earlier today that I chucked somewhere probably in my shit pile. But there is a bit of you that's kind of going, you printed out a shitload of pieces of paper saying, hey, if you're thinking of flogging your house, use us. Well, it cost you a lot of money to get those printed and distributed. Have you considered that most people who want to sell the house know the major names around here? You know, if you bought your house, you probably bought it through someone. So if nothing else, you'd go and look and see if they were still in business. In fact, there were a lot that sold me this are still in business, but they've all changed because they pissed off all of their employees and they all left and formed a new business. So, but, you know, I even know that. So if I really wanted to sell this house, I could ask them. I could ask the guy who flogged me this one, find me a new one. You know, it's... I've even got his phone number, so, you know, it's... I hate this knot. I'm shit at it. There we go. And it's too long, of course. There we go. See, targeted ads are a strange world. Because, of course, they're not targeted properly. They're the best pick it thinks out of the ads that it's got who have shown an interest in showing ads in the category creating. And, of course, most of them aren't about creating, so you get really bizarro ones. Kind of almost down to the general, generic leftovers. And so I'm not too surprised that you got things. But as you say, a mattress. If you want a mattress, you'd buy one. An advert's not really likely to change your mind as to where you go to get it from or which one you get, because you'll want to lie on it and decide whether it's comfortable first. Much as I buy a lot of things online, there are some things you can't buy online. Actually do need to go and see it or touch it or... I didn't add one, did I? Idiot. And usually you regret it. So. I know what you mean, and especially if you've bought plenty of mattresses over your life. No, and that's the thing. I mean, we all know that maybe you like a firmer one or a softer one or whatever, and you know that. But like everything, until you've got it, you don't know what their firm, their soft actually feels like. And of course, they're all about these, oh, well, we don't use springs. We now use memory foam things. And you're kind of going, so you're expecting tiny little foamy things to create a firm mattress for a fatty here. Because bear in mind, I play ogres because I'm fat. I'm sorry, is that really going to support me well in that? Is this really the best that I can do for myself? I did buy a mattress topper recently. Well, not that recently, but fairly recently. I did buy a mattress topper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just checking. And it said it was 6 inches. It's not even 6 fucking centimetres. They lied to their ass on that one. Which was a bit disappointing. I haven't actually put it on my bed yet because you had to do the take it out, it will grow. No, it didn't. And because, like you say, it was all folded up into a tiny little ball of nothing. And so when I got it out, it was a little bit. That doesn't look like it's going to grow very much, and it didn't. I was just trying to explain to my ex-hubby. I have You have to forgive, it's now attached to a wooden thing at the moment. But I have this. And this square here, let me put it down, this square here is 8 centimetres. And the description of the thing says that it makes a thing 8 centimetres. Well, no it doesn't. Because you don't... Try to tighten it up a bit. The idea of how it's made is it takes 2 squares, you make them at 45 degrees, and then the corners flop down and you kind of make like crocodile teeth around the edges, so it's smaller. Well, then it's not 8 centimetres now, is it, honey? It's like half of that. It's going to be tiny and kind of pointless. And while I'm kind of having fun making it, I did say kind of having fun because they are the tiniest frigging stitches in humanity, and for some reason, due to the colour of the yarn in question, which is a very pale lilac, when you first put them, when you do one direction, it actually looks more pink and kind of blends with the cloth a bit, and so you can't really see it, so that when you come back you're not sure you're actually going over the right bits. So it has swearing attached to it and frustrations, but it's going to be tiny. It's going to be freaking useless. The principle is a nice principle. The practical answer to it is it's going to be tiny. I haven't got anything I can chop up. Yes, I do. This is boring and pointless. I'm pretty confident of that. Let me check which one it is. Actually, I want to keep that one. Let me find something else. Here we go. This will do. I actually put too much. Oh no, that end will do. Yeah, let's do this. Let me chop a chunk of it off. Because I don't need my address on it, so that's the thing. Right, there is a piece of paper. It is not to scale, clearly. It's got a sticker on it, but let's see if we can square this up a little bit. So make it approximately a bit more square than it currently is. Let me choppy it because it's not playing fun with folding because of the sticky label and the fact that some bits are a lot bigger and some bits aren't. So let me chop this and then chop off the sticky label because the sticky label is getting in the way. Sticky, sticky, sticky. And get your nose out of it, dog. Hang on. This is not going to be the bestest square, but it's only for demonstration purposes, right? And it's not to scale. It is smaller, but it's not to scale. So here is an approximate square, right? As I said, not accurate. But what you do is you fold down the corners like this, so that you meet in a point like that. So effectively they meet in the middle. As I said, it's not a perfect square, so bite me, but it will meet in the middle like this, for example. As I said, not a square. I was aware of this. So that the other diamond shaped squares, so let's put this back in view, right? So what happens is this is the original, say, 8 centimetre square. Obviously this is not 8 centimetres, but you then fold the edges down so that the diamonds from the other square, doing exactly the same, go at 45 degrees, so you fit the diamonds in the hole and you make basically a little box shape. Well, if this is 8 centimetres, this is not going to be 8 centimetres now, is it? So when it's made, it's not 8 centimetres. Well, it's going to be more like 4.5, 5. That's tiny, And I'm sorry, but that's kind of unfit for purpose, in my humble opinion. It'll look pretty. I'm not going to argue it won't look nice, because it will look nice. But what do? Put 3 pins in it and laugh? I mean, it's supposed to be a pin cushion, by the way. It's just kind of like, it's just not going to be good, you know? It's just not going to, it's just going to be tiny. So I don't care how pretty it is. If it's not going to do the job for which it was designed for, it's shit. I don't care how pretty it is. It's like a car. It doesn't matter how nice it looks. If it doesn't move, it's kind of pointless, you know? Which is where my car's at right now. My car is not well. But tiny little thing is not going to be big enough for what I expected it to be. Because I thought 8 centimetres would be a nice, decent size for this. Because it would. 8 centimetres, she says, is what? Well, we know it's about this. Well, an 8 centimetre square thing would be a kind of about right as a pin cushion on here. But a 4 or 5 centimetre thing is kind of pee on a drum, really. Especially with the number of pins that we have. So, I forgot to add one. Douche. You didn't add. Undo. At least you noticed. Bop. Twist. Cinch that up a little bit. There we go. Twist. So yeah, So I'm kind of disappointed because it wasn't until I started all the way down it that I realised that, well, it's going to be tiny. It's just not going to be big enough. And Rory, I do love you, but sitting there is not really helping, my man. Come here. Come here. No, not you, little one. You were already on the couch. I'm trying to get him out of between me and the cushion. You got fed. You've had... I never fed you your biscuits. No wonder you're being shitty. Come on. I got them some biscuits and then didn't give them the... There they go. There you go. Leave me alone for 3 seconds. So yeah, I'm kind of disappointed as to how that's going to be when I finish it. And of course, I've done 1,400 odd bloody stitches on it, and I'm not even halfway around the edge, so kind of, you know. And I'm doing this for fun, am I now? Whose definition of fun is this? Because I'm pretty sure I don't agree with it. I was trying to explain to my boss, because each stitch is basically a millimetre. And I was trying to explain that, you know, I do this for fun, apparently, but I'm not entirely sure how I'm defining fun at this point. Because I feel I should disagree with this level of description. Because even he kind of went, that doesn't sound... And I went, no, it's a lot of frustration and hassle. And you're trying to count things and... Not ideal. Nearly as annoying as getting these wrong, so you know. And as I said to him, I'm doing the cross stitch as a alternative so that my brain doesn't get fried and bored with doing the other tiny annoying hobby that I've got, and it's kind of like, yeah, I'll just book myself a funny farm appointment. It's a line in the Librarian when he says, oh, well, I'll just go and tell her. And it's like, oh, interesting. Of course you can. I hear such and such comes in vanilla now. Obviously a famous kind of relaxant, shall we call it. that I am unaware of, because of course I'm British and we probably call it something completely different. I'd have to look it up. See what she says. See if I can find it. Hang on. Because it's in the first librarian film, so I'm sure it'll be online somewhere. Oh yeah, I understand Thorazine comes in vanilla now. See, I knew I'd find it. It's, you know, it's kind of like, yeah, of course you do, love. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good luck with that. You know, yeah, you tell them. They'll lock you away. Mind you, it makes me wonder what Thorazine does and what flavours it was previously available in, because most of the flavourings, as we all know, are nothing like the actual flavour that you expect. When it says it's strawberry flavour, no strawberry you ever tasted like that. So, you know, I hate medical flavourings because they inevitably are just rubbish. I feel a need to go back to my bigger stampy pin. Excuse my bigger stampy pins. Because that little pin is just not kind of man enough for this job. I need a bit more oomph. There you go. Rory, piss off. We'll do your friend the other end. There we go. Go away, go away, go on. Right, so. See, this is why I wanted you longer, because you are in the way. Now we need to slide you under there, because we don't need you for a bit. I'll put you back in for a minute. A lot of pins over here that I forgot to reuse at some point. To rejig some of this because, well, I need the space and I might as well do this properly, so you get to move over, you get to move over. And then you guys get to come in here. It's a bit crowded, but it'll be fine. You can come, although you are a little too short for this, even though you don't feel short, you are a little short. We're going to have to do this carefully. You're going to come round and under here and sit as much under here as you possibly can when I put the pin back, which is why I needed stronger pins. There we go. So that we can have a bit of a prongle pin. Now I don't need you either, but there is definitely no room for you in that pile as it stands, so you can just flop on top and we will pretend that we didn't do that. And we'll get these ones out and these ones, because we have reached the final 5. Of you for a moment, and I'm going to run through all of you to check that you're all in the right place. You've all got twists as we work through, so spot under the cushion under here. This is a little high. Hang on, let's give you a bit of a tug. Yep, there you are. Oops. Fiver in play. In fact, you are done. That pair of bobbins gets such a hard life, and look at all the string we put on it. I definitely went way overkill this time round, to which I am feeling slightly guilty, because I do feel that some of them have almost got enough to do another square, but I don't really want knots in it. And I don't believe you can really start without the loops, so yeah, not quite sure how to avoid that problem in the future. I mean, I don't mind having a bit of waste at the end of a square, but clearly this was way too much. The problem is it's not easy to measure how much you actually needed. Because unless you undid one, of course, which, let's face it, if it took you 58 hours to make it, you're not going to unpick it just to find out how long it actually was. I guess the other answer is you put on an inordinate long amount in the first place and measure how much you've got left. But again, that's still complicated, because to accurately measure an inordinately long amount is complicated. To be accurate and do it. And Rory's trying to help here. Aren't you, my little man? And this bobbin is kind of jammed. Can you not? This bobbin's kind of got stuck. There we go. I love you very much, little man, but you're just kind of not helping. You're just not. You're really, really not. Not helping. And no, you're not. Come up on the couch this side. Come here. Come here. That's a good boy. You come up and sit on the couch and be a good boy. Good boy. Hmm? I do. Yes, I do. I do love you very much. But this is a me thing. Doggy paws are not good at this. Mind you, my paws are not particularly good at it either, but doggy paws would not be very good at this. You may have been a great lace maker in previous lifetimes, but you've got doggy paws now. And doggy paws are not good for funny things like this. No. What have you got on your chest? What have you? Can't find it now. Just give you a good scratch instead. You can hear that. That's a good bit. You're a good boy, really. And I do the worky stuff so that I can feed you and me. Yes. Don't feed her, no. No, we don't feed her. Ever. No. Yeah, we discussed this. It's just you and me, mate. Yeah. Come on. Off you go. You lie down. Be a good boy over there. You lie down. No, not on me. Piss off. Not on me. No, I gave you a hug. I did. People were here to witness. You had a hug. Come on then. Come up through the hole. Come up through the hole. Come on. Come on. You can't... Rory, you really are not helping. Little man. Come on. Look, young lady, that claw needs a trim. Yes, it does. Don't give me that look. Come on, Rory. You have a choice. Either come up or piss off. He's had snuggles all frickin' day. He is not the deprived little individual that the man is trying to make himself out to be. Now, I know that, much like, going to the loo, some things hit you at a time when it suits it, not you. But, my little man, you are a good boy. But I'm busy. I need to do me things. I do. Once it's over, mind you, I was going to stop round about now, so I do appreciate that in your mind you were thinking, aren't you done yet? And the answer is, well, I was thinking that, but I kind of want to do this bit, because this bit doesn't take too long. Then there isn't much to do tomorrow, and then there's a chance we'll move on. I will have to have printed out some stuff, and we can do the experiment before we get to the end, because we can't get to the end of the next triangle without checking out whether that method of sewing in ends works, or whether we say Yabu sucks and continue with what we did last time. No. I know. But you are a good boy. But I want to finish doing this, so please, back on. He is a lovely little soul, but at least unlike his sister, while he is much more like a slow-moving ball of magma, in that it's very difficult to stop him, but at least it is usually a slow movement, and it's not the sudden in-your-face face-hugging kind. So it's just coming up to his usual spot. There. You sit back there. That's your fave spot. He's going to maul me in a minute. Yep, he's sat on his sister's head. So she's now moved. But he is much more a slow, gentle being, which is quite nice because it means that you get to discuss it with him, for want of a better word. Whereas she just flings herself at your face, and it's kind of all or nothing, which is a little bit much, to be honest. You of course have come undone. No wonder you're just rolling around. So yeah, don't nudge my elbow. That does not make it happen quicker. And if she would, he's very gentle and she's very kind of skitty. But one of the things that she does that drives me up the wall is she's got a real thing for my cushions, but only the ones that I use. So obviously it's got to be fairly strongly smelling of me. If there's two pillows on my bed, she's only interested in the top one. If you swap them over, she's not interested now. And I've got a couple of cushions on this couch, and one of them is one I made, and one of them is one I paid freaking good money for. A lot of good money for, but it was a long time ago. The one I made makes a really good napping cushion. So if you ever want to nap, you put this thing down and you get a really good nap, right? So I have snoozed on it. Therefore, every time she gets on this couch, she rucks up all the cushion. I say all the cushions, both the cushions. But she completely obliterates where my made cushion is. And then kind of looks at me as well, it's not comfortable. Well, no, because you moved it. It was comfortable, but you've moved it now. And this does not seem to make sense in doggy worlds, that it was comfortable, you rucked it up, so now it's not comfortable. They both buggered off outside. Time to put the couch back together. So I do love them very dearly, but there are times that you just kind of like, can you just leave it alone as you're scraping and digging through the couch? Can you just, like, leave it and not, and... What I'm going to be doing tomorrow morning, I'm going to be making and printing off a miniature square and threading some bobbins so that we can do the trial for the ending. The problem is to make a reasonable trial for the ending, to decide whether it adds too much bulk or not, because my concern is... Right, let me explain. So on the previous square, where the square meets up at the end, you get the two triangles joining together, and I have done what is a semi-traditional knotting, right? You tie it in a small knot and you chop the ends off. This results in bunny ears, where you have the little bunny ears of the knot sticking up. And I have glued them because I am paranoid that under use they will fall apart, and that would be slightly devastating considering how long it takes to make these chuffing things. And someone said to me, oh well, yes, you could avoid that. Okay, I'm all ears for that. By sewing the ends in like this, and did me a little video. But if you think of how easy it is to spot the minor mistakes when doing this, once you've taken the pins out, of course. If suddenly some of the bits, instead of being 2 threads wide, were 4 thread wide, well, surely it shows quite a bit. So I am not convinced that the sewing in of ends is like you do with knitting and crochet. At least with knitting and crochet, you've got kind of a big fluffy yarn and you can kind of pierce through the yarn shafts with the other yarn so that you can kind of hide it. Well, that's not going to work with this shit because it's too thin. You can't, I mean, technically you probably can, but the reality is it's kind of impractical to try and pierce such tiny fine thread because it just tends to fall apart. And so it's not generally striking me as a winning answer, but at the same time, if it is, I want to be doing it. I want it to look as good as I can, and obviously, you know, I got a couple of corners where I can hide a dodgy edge, so I can, you know, do a bit of that. But the one's nearer the middle, so if you think the top right, the top left-hand corner, and the bottom left and the bottom right, if they were a little dodgier, you could probably live with it because it's kind of in the corner and it's not going to be so noticeable. But down the shafts of the middles, where these squares are going to be, well, it's going to show now, isn't it? So if I can do better, it would be better to do better. We all like to do as best we can. So I want to try it because I want to prove to myself whether it's better or worse, kind of thing. Jesus Christ, Rory. Oh, at least I think that was Rory. Something streaked through from the garden. It was a Rory. He's looking at me with the Why? What? Right, so what I'm going to do then is I'm going to lengthen you slightly. Because normally by this point we're working with really short threads, so I might lengthen you a little bit. And you a little bit, because you're a bit shorter. Jesus Christ, dog. This is not a Formula 1 racetrack. We've got the beam now. But I am going to put these pins away because these pins are only going to end up bent. I mean, let's face it, they're going to be bent anyway, but get rid of these. And put a stick in these. Doesn't feel... It does, doesn't it? But the treats are really not that exciting. They're really, really not. I can tell you because I've eaten one. They're really not that exciting. And before you ask, yes, I do eat dog food. Not on an everyday kind of basis, but I have everything I fed my dogs I've eaten. Some of it is distinctly worse than others, is all I can say to that. Some of it's fucking disgusting. But for the most part, it's not so bad. In fact, the worst stuff is the tinned dog meat, because that tastes of nothing. Absolutely nothing. Except for Chappie. Chappie tastes of something, but it tastes of gross, so that's not really a win either. So, tomorrow afternoon, being Friday, we will complete this triangle, without doubt. Doesn't feel like we achieved a lot today, which is a bit surprising, because yesterday we did really well. Because yesterday I think we did that bit close to that bit, and then that and that and that. Whereas, mind you, we did that today, didn't we? We did actually do that today. So I'm not actually displeased. No, we did more than I thought. That's all right then. It was a bit more than I thought it was. Just take a pattern, try and get these out the way for the picture, because it looks better without you in the way and without you looking like a mistake as well. Thank you. I don't mind you being a big pile of bobbin nastiness, but you can just not gonna be. There we go. Picture. I like the pictures. So it is nearly 10 o'clock. This will probably take 2 odd plus hours, because part of the problem I'm struggling with, Zukin, is the fact that I do this and I'm all happy with it, but I then immediately go into YouTube and upload it. But due to my dog crap internet, there have been times it's 2 o'clock in the morning before it's finished, and I've got work in the morning. So I've been getting a bit tired and grumpy. Well, I know I'm tired and grumpy at the best of times, but even more tired and grumpy. I'm just tidying up from when I raided that piece of paper earlier. So I need to make sure I'm not too tired and grumpy so that I don't cause issues for work, because obviously that could be a thing. And so I can put this down as my dampening of bobbin excitement, and my lovely brown cloth of covering. I don't know what it is about this brown cloth, but I really quite like this brown cloth, even though it's kind of molting at the edges and I need to do a bit of work on it. But I think I'm going to call it well, I am clearly calling it a day for today. It has been nice to have you with me, as always, and I appreciate people to speak to. I will be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. UK time, so that's 16 hours from now. Hence counting them. So yes, I will be back in 16 hours, and hopefully we can do a fairly long stream. I will try and eat something beforehand to give me maximum opportunity, so that I don't, well, of course it's takeout night, so that's always a problem, but I shall do my best. Be good, and I shall see. Thank thanks for coming, mister. Thanks to everyone else who's been here. I shall see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.